We know the number one question, and it is the number one question from everybody online, is how much did it cost? We just want to say a big hello to all our new subscribers.
Hello. 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 Hello to you, and hello to you.
We just want to say, massive thank you. We are genuinely gobsmacked at how many new subscribers and how many views we've had. It looks like a lot of you are quite interested in what's going on. We're amazed at the feedback we've had, also positive. So thank you all very much. We really, really appreciate it, and honestly, it means an awful lot to us. We've been asked lots of questions recently over the last few videos, and we thought it was time for a little Q&A. These are the most common questions that we get asked by friends and family, as well as you guys in the comments via messages and emails as well.
Oh, and just so you know, we filmed this week's video from the comfort of our friend's garden just down the road.
Why did we choose Bulgaria?
So one of the main questions, and definitely one of the first ones, especially from our families, is why Bulgaria? If you can see in the background, this is definitely one of the reasons. It's not for everybody, but we think it's absolutely stunning here, and there's miles and miles of untamed wilderness and natural beauty everywhere.
And it's so different. So you can go for a drive and be at the top of a mountain, to the next minute being in the middle of just some fields, or going for a walk and exploring all these rock formations. I mean, I'm not going to lie, the sun was a draw for me.
Sun baby.
Yeah, I don't do well with British weather. The weather is absolutely one of the top reasons why we chose Bulgaria. I mean, we're now in the middle of February.
Yeah, middle of Feb, I'm out here with the t-shirt on.
Spring has arrived.
It's 20 degrees, definitely spring has arrived.
Yeah.
And I think the winter's over, you know, it seems like it's... I mean, we were back here in December as well, when we were buying the house, and we were also in t-shirts. It really wasn't a problem. Our solicitor did say, what are you going to do when it hits 40 degrees here? Because it does hit 40 degrees here, apparently. 42 is not unheard of. And we will melt when it's 42 degrees. That's what we'll do, and then they'll be laughing at us.
I think the other thing is actually the people.
People are lovely. so lovely. Everybody has been welcoming. They really, what I will say is they really, really appreciate you trying some Bulgarian. Even if you don't know much, just a hello greeting gets you a long way. Like, it really breaks down the barrier.
Yeah, definitely. I think even if you show an attempt, already they're like, okay, at least they're trying, and that's all you can do, because it is a tricky language to learn.
So I don't want to go around, you know, asking, do you speak English, do you speak English? It's embarrassing for us.
I hate asking that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But sometimes you have to, and other times Google Translate is my best friend.
Yeah, I like pointing and fingers, like 2 of those please. That works for me. Planning restrictions, that's another reason for being here. Planning and housing.
And then I suppose that brings us to our final reason, which is obviously the cost.
Yeah, cost of living. There
was just no way. We were stuck in the rental rat race back in England, and there was no way we were going to be able to scrape together any form of deposit to get any type of property.
When we left that rental property and it went back on the market, for 1,000, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think it was £1,000 a month. So we were getting a bargain at 800, and it was just ridiculous. Even Alex's childcare was £750 a month. Like, I don't know how people can manage it. I honestly don't. And you end up working all the hours under the sun just to put your child in childcare. Like, he was having breakfast, lunch and dinner at nursery. He'd come home to sleep and that's it. Yeah. Like, that's no life for him.
No, and I think we just sat down, didn't we, and we decided, right, okay, if we're this unhappy, what's important to us? And we decided that actually we're not that fussed about a posh car or you know, having the latest.
I'm just going to interrupt you because
are you sinking?
I'm very, very gradually sinking here, as you might have noticed with the head dropping. My chair is sinking into the mud, so I'm just going to.
Bear with.
I'm just going to rejig.
Right there, love.
Yeah, give me 5 minutes and we'll have to do it again.
Yeah, we can tell who put on the most weight in COVID, though.
They do really good pastries over here, just so you know. They do amazing croissants.
And
You just ruined that video, haven't you?
Why?
Trying to do your Bulgarian.
Well, maybe we could clip back to when you said that it's really important that you at least try your best.
Okay.
They really appreciate you trying some Bulgarian.
How did we find it?
Okay, so how did we find the property? So I reckon we had been researching for about 2 years before we actually found our ideal property, came over and purchased it. We started all of our research online, lots of other YouTube channels that we watched. We also did some research with regards to different estate agents over here, didn't we?
Absolutely. Looking online at different online estate agencies, different companies.
So important that you get real-time footage of a property or land that you are buying.
Absolutely.
There are lots of properties on eBay, online, on websites, and they will take beautiful photos of a property. However, you have to remember that properties over here, sometimes they take years to sell.
Literally
so
years,
you could
no
be
problem
looking
at
at
all.
your dream property, and then when you get there, actually you find that the barn's fallen down and you've got rising damp.
A lot of estate agents will just take photos when it looks good or the sun's out, and they won't give you a reality. And that's the number one thing for us, was a walk round video.
And that's, I think, what then led us to 2 different YouTube channels.
Absolutely.
So the first one
The 2 main.
was Alternative Living Bulgaria, and the second one was a man called Vez
Yeah.
from Ideal Homes
I'll
Bulgaria.
link both of them actually.
Yeah. He was based more in kind of like the VT and surrounding area.
So a bit higher north in the Balkan Mountains.
And we know that some other channels like Our Derelict Dream, they had a fantastic experience
Hi, Lee.
purchasing from them. And we actually ended up going with Joe from Alternative Living Bulgaria. And he was really open and honest with what he could see. And
Yep.
it was there that eventually we found a property. And actually we messaged him and said, oh, Joe, this is it. We found it. I mean, the poor guy must have been so fed up with our messages. But we said, oh, no, this one, we want it. And he went, guys, I'm sorry, it's gone.
Yeah, honestly, it had been online for, I think it said 9 hours. The video had
Yeah.
been live for 9 hours, and it had sold.
So then Joe said, well, he rang us up and we
Yeah.
had a good old chat with him talking about our final requirements, really. And he said,
what we were
okay, I
after.
think I've got the property for you. And he sent us over the video, and I think we were 30 seconds into the video and we looked at each other, didn't we? And we were like,
Straight away.
wow, this is happening. Within a month of watching the video, we were over here.
What were our requirements?
So what were our requirements? Number one really was land. We wanted land. A lot of houses in Bulgaria come with land, but we wanted a fairly large plot so that we could be totally self-sufficient, grow fruit trees, I could have machinery, things like that. Number two was barns. We really wanted outbuildings. Again, quite a few outbuildings. I'm very practical. I like my workshops, both mechanical, woodworking, metalworking, all the rest of it.
And a donkey.
She wants a donkey. Still. Guys, still she wants a donkey.
Yep, space for a donkey.
Yeah. You found one the other day, didn't you?
Yeah, someone offered one, new one.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Lauren BG, I think it was. Thank you for that. So if anybody wants a donkey, because we don't, check out the
Lauren-
comment on, I think, the last video.
The previous video.
Yeah.
She's got a friend that
Lauren
needs
BG.
one
she-
rehoming. It's called Hamish.
It is called Hamish.
And it gives you cuddles.
You're not going to win me over. Anyway, so we wanted some barns. We wanted land. We wanted a rural property that was sort of on the outskirts of a village. We didn't want to be in the centre of a village, and we didn't want to be too far away from town either. We didn't want an hour's drive to town and stuff. So I think they were really the main requirements.
And we weren't that fussed with the house as such.
No.
Because I think we already knew that whatever the living area would be a renovation project for us.
Absolutely. And our budget as well was very limited, even by Bulgarian standards. It was limited for what we were after, and we knew that we weren't going to get a good property, like a good house, with that money really. Like, it was going to be in fairly rundown condition. There is one thing that our land doesn't tick the box on. That is the only thing, but it is as far as we know so far, as far as we've worked out, it's the only thing on our land which is no woodland. So I am a tree surgeon. It was really important to me to try and have some woodland, but you can't really have woodland down this far south. It's just so hot in the summers. What does grow here is so small that it's not really woodland. It's almost like orchards, really.
I'll plant you a fruit tree.
Oh, thanks, son.
You can go and hang out there.
Just hang out with my one fruit tree.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that didn't tick the box.
Yep.
Apart from that, we loved it. Fell in love straight away.
How easy was it to buy?
Okay, so how easy was it to buy? I have never bought a property back in the UK before. However, even from a rental perspective, the process of buying over here is so straightforward. To the point that actually, if all the documents and checks have been completed, you literally could have keys to your property and be legal owners within a week.
Easily.
Absolutely.
I have heard of it being done in a day before, but I think all the paperwork's got to be exactly in the right place. You've got to have book slots at the notaries and stuff like that.
Yeah. So because of Brexit, the way that it stood when we, and I believe it's the same now, is that as UK citizens, we could only purchase our property through a company. So we had to set up a Bulgarian company, and then our Bulgarian company purchased the land. We were really fortunate because everything was kind of taken control of, wasn't it?
We bought through Joe at Alternative Living Bulgaria, and he pretty much led the charge. So he has partnered with a solicitor over here who speaks amazing English, and the pair of them just sorted everything out for us. We had to sign boxes here and there. We had to turn up at notaries when we were asked, but more or less most of it was in hand. She translated everything before we signed anything. She talked us through every form that we were signing.
I think one of the key things you have to look into as well is the property that you are buying. Our property was jointly owned by two sisters that had inherited it from their father. So they both had to be present. So it was almost like we were actually buying off two sellers rather than just the one.
Absolutely.
So there was a bit of a logistical
and that
issue of just making sure we were all together.
That can really cause problems. That can slow the whole process to a standstill. If, say, there's 8 children and it's handed down to those 8 children, all 8 children have to be present at the notary's office to sign it over to you. So if one of them lives in Bali, you've got a hell of a time trying to get them over. It was, so the notary read the contract through, and we each had to verbally say, yes, we agree. And obviously the translator was there to go through that with us. And basically she just asked everybody around the table, are you happy with what you're signing, with the agreement in place? We all said yes. We gave them the cash, we paid the notary fee, and we walked away with keys to the house.
Keys. I mean,
well, you've seen the video about finding keys.
Why off-grid?
So why off-grid? The dream was land in the UK with a cabin, a river and all the rest of it. The sort of dream off-grid property, if you like.
Yeah.
For us, just not going to happen in the UK. I'm massively passionate about renewable energy and the future of energy across the board, like wind and solar and hydro and all the rest of it. It really, really interests me massively. And also part of climate change, we've got a little one that we're bringing into the world, and I don't want him to grow up knowing that, power comes from coal, and we want to make change. And we honestly believe that by leading the charge on change, and I know that there's a lot of people doing that, that we can sort of show you that it doesn't have to be like it is. To be self-reliant for us is massively important. There was a while ago back in Kent where all the water mains burst. There was a village that was without water for over a week, and they were flushing their toilet with bottled drinking water. People didn't know what to do, and as the population rises, the stress on the infrastructure is tenfold. And so without putting these things in place, being a bit more self-reliant, people are going to start coming unstuck. Over here, power is mainly, I believe, by coal, natural gas or oil. So it's very, very dirty power here. There definitely is solar farms. That's a good thing. Like, we're starting to see that coming in now. But it's, again, responsible for us to be more self-reliant, but also producing cleaner energy and being less reliant on infrastructure. Everybody here seems to have a well. We don't have a well on our property yet, but we will be looking at getting a borehole or a well dug for our water, so that we are off of the mains altogether. And then heat will be from firewood, and if we can, we'll try and do as much solar as we can, so we can actually electrically heat with solar. But that is a big demand on a solar system. So we're going to start small and work our way up, see how we get on.
Absolutely.
How much did it cost?
So the big one, how much did it cost? How much did it cost, Katie? So the house, the house was on the market for 15,000 lev. We put in a very cheeky offer of 10,000 lev, and believe it or not, it was accepted.
We were expecting for them to come back and there would be a bit of bartering, but that didn't happen.
Nothing. They came straight back and said, "Yep, we'll take it." So we were incredibly lucky with that. Absolutely incredible how cheap that was. So the cost.
We've written it down, haven't we?
Yeah, we've roughly written it down, and it is estimated because there were some other little fees, like fees for drawing cash out, and little bits and pieces here, but around and about this is roughly where we're at.
So for the house itself, it was about 9,950 lev.
Yeah.
Joe's fees, who was our agent, was 2,500 lev. We also needed a preliminary contract drawn up, so that was an extra cost for us.
Yeah.
So that was about 600 lev.
Yeah.
And then we obviously also had to set up a company because our house came with land.
That was it. So while we were waiting for the company to be set up. Whilst we were waiting for the company to be set up, we did a preliminary contract so that we'd signed on the dotted line to say we were definitely buying the house. That was what that was for.
And that was 1,000 lev.
Yeah, to set the company up was 1,000 lev.
And then obviously there was like the cost of completion. So that's like taxes, the cost of the notary, and any final fees with like the solicitor and things. And that was around about 800 lev. So we went through and we kind of totted up as much as we could with the exchange rate at that current time. And our total cost for the property,
buying the property and all the associated fees, everything all in, at the exchange rate back then, which was in December, came to
£6,624.29.
So there is no denying that even over here by Bulgarian standards we got an absolute bargain. So a bit of a different video style for us this week. I hope you enjoyed it and that it at least answered some of your questions. No doubt we will be doing another Q&A at some point in the future.
And if you want a giggle with some behind the scenes shots with a 4-year-old, just stick around.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Why off-grid?
Are you ready? Steady, go.
How did we find it?
What are you doing with that hand? Put that hand by your side. Steady, go.
Like and subscribe.
Go.
Like and